up to all my fellow TIs and non-TIs? Hope you're having a beautiful, happy Wednesday. It's a beautiful sunny day here. Mostly no clouds here in, Goodsboro, PA, Clifton Township, PA. So I just want to, really re-emphasize something. Just because, your family or whatever, or, doing good things for me, bringing me back into your home, or, food, money, clothes, applying for a job for me, but behind the scenes, they know it, smearing my name, reputation, calling me the PDF file and all this other shit, destroying my reputation and my livelihood, and involved in all these warrants that they got for my arrest, through the feds, and conspiring with Karina Galvez and Tony Roman and Basilicos Pasivino. Karina Galvez, my former, she's a wicked witch, housemate that I had, that I shared a house with, to really destroy my life and use these illegal means, by slowly killing me with the deadly COVID vaccine and the nanotech chip that's in me. Just because you guys and my family have done all these good things, holding me back to live with them and all this shit, that's all done as a cop-out. That's all a fucking cover-up. I never asked my brother to fucking apply for a job for me, do all that shit. Even though I did ask to come back home, I had no choice because they made me homeless. So this is what the fuck you get. And they know it. They know they're involved. They know they think that I'm a PDF file and a child molester and a terrorist and an animal abuser, even though I'm not any of those things. They think that adamant denial, constant denial is going to, mean otherwise. So they better hope I'm dead before the investigations get launched and the truth comes out, because I believe it will with this whole Epstein saga shit, and they're fucked. So whatever cover-ups they tried to get involved in, with the local law enforcement, the corrupt fucking bastards out in Huntington Beach, the Huntington Beach Police Department that's involved in setting me up for crimes that I didn't actually commit, and the Orange County Sheriff's Department, New York City Police Department, and maybe even, if this has been going on for years. I lived in Orlando, Florida, and Kissimmee, Florida. So maybe all these local government, state and federal government agencies are involved. And they know it. No matter how much they want to call me crazy, even though I've been brain damaged by being poisoned out at the navigational shelter in Huntington Beach, California, and all those stores and restaurants, And, they gave me the deadly COVID vax with an infected needle. I remember little bits and pieces of this shit and the torture I endured, the brain damage and my whole autonomy, my bodily autonomy being, changed. I don't know how else to explain it, guys. If you're a targeted individual and you had a lot of damage done to you, like this whole Savannah syndrome thing, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe that's what I got, And the gas, like when I was at the navigational shelter, they were poisoning me, spraying fucking Clorox bleach and cleaner chemicals on me. And they said if I say anything, then they'll put me in the hospital and say that I'm crazy. And it eventually led to that when these dudes there were going to attack me with pit bull dogs, because they allow people to have dogs there, And they said, Corey, why don't you just go? We'll call a crisis center on you and go to the Huntington Beach Hospital psych ward. And I did, to get away from it. And then 48 hours later, I felt unsafe again. So I kind of took advantage of the corrupt system. I kind of played like I was a little paranoid, and needed to be put back in the hospital. And I had no choice but to come home, because they were, I'm targeted. So they were going to try to come after me, and people, in this community know that this stuff is true. And I tried to explain it to my nurse practitioner, and of course she gave me that false diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia, which is not true. And a lot of the damage that has been done throughout my life is environmental, from the deadly vaccines we've been taking as a child, the shit that they put in the air, food and water, my dysfunctional family, narcissism, dad drinking, fucking drugging, and mother just, being a manic depressing and suicidal depressant, and all this shit. Most of that came from the environment. They could try to blame it on genes. Narcissists don't want to take accountability for their actions. They'll say, oh, we made mistakes, blah, 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 this and that. The fuck out of here. Yeah, people make mistakes, but that's on a whole nother level when it comes to narcissism. And narcissists always do that shit, But I have to just try to stay within the grace of God and hope that by the grace of God, a miracle. Well, I don't necessarily believe in miracles. I think things happen for a reason. But let's just call it on the surface level a miracle that all those false charges, them, with this evil Salem witch hunt against me with all these charges, me not having to show up to court, warrants being put out for my arrest, is ex parte tactics that they use. Go look at Heidi, Real Talk with Heidi's video, and the corrupt tactics the feds use, the state, local, and feds use to, really destroy a person's life and have them false witnesses, and, a person that maybe you haven't seen in years come back, they dig into your past and use them and like as if they knew you but didn't talk to you for years or whatever, and just seeing posts on social media, that you would post, shit like that, But it's really sad. I mean, I hope by the grace of God, no matter how damaged I am mentally, physically, that I could still be around and not have to go to prison and be sentenced to death for these crimes that they frame me for like child pedophilia or making me look like that, and domestic terrorist and all these other crimes that they've. I think they tried to frame me to look like a human trafficker with Karina and Galvez and the local people in the neighborhood and the corrupt police departments using my car when I was out on vacation or when I was sleeping at night or whatever the case may be, using my car to commit those crimes. Like I said, I saw a child's handprint on the window, the driver's side of the window after I got out of UCI hospital, and I saw it in the window in my bedroom. These people are fucking evil and they want me gone. And this is the God-given truth. All my fellow TIs know this shit, And of course they're told, these stupid psychiatrists, doctors that need to be Nuremberg, their involvement in this shit, her name is Andrea Orpin at the Wright Center in Scranton, Pennsylvania, which is about 20 something miles from here, maybe 15 to 20 miles from here. They need to have their fucking licenses removed. They need to be Nuremberg. The Stasi's in Nuremberg. I mean, in Germany, during, the concentration camps in World War II, they did this to people. They gaslit the shit out of people. What do you think this whole Project MK Ultra hearings and the Pfizer hearings are coming out? All this stuff is coming out, man. The truth can't be hidden. It's evil. Whatever was dark in the dark is going to come to light. You bastards are fucking done, So you better fucking at least make sure I'm dead before then. All right? I don't care how crazy I fucking look. This is the truth. They fucked me up real bad, bro. My own family's involved in this shit, and they know it. No matter how much they deny. After a while, they probably start to believe their own fucking lies. You tell yourself all these lies. Like, no, we would never do that. Why would we do that? Look, we let you back into the house to give you money, clothes, food, blah, blah, blah. A car, this or that, we, and all this other stuff, But that's all part of the fucking cover. Of course they're going to do that, They don't have to, but still, it's all part of the fucking cover. That doesn't mean you can't be doing evil shit behind the scenes to want me dead and gone, or locked up and all this shit. The truth of that is going to come out. And then what? They'll have no choice but to arrogantly admit it. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, so what? We don't like you. We never liked you. They'll never be genuine about it, about the smear campaigns and all this shit. Because they're evil, sick sons of bitches, And this is how I feel. I can't hold it in no more. I'm sorry. But, yeah, so the truth is coming out. You bastards, even out there in Southern California, you corrupt Orange County Sheriff's Department, corrupt Huntington Beach Police Departments, corrupt fire department that was involved in all this shit, gaslighting the shit out of me, saying it's your anxiety. Why don't you go to the psych ward? The UCI psych ward, them involved in this shit, giving me the deadly COVID vaccine with an infected needle and a nanotech chip, poisoning my food, Your days are numbered, motherfuckers. I have faith that there's a good guy who's infiltrated your fucking evil operation. Not depriving me of due process rights, and all this stuff. You people are fucking evil. And you're going to go down for this shit. All right? You're going to fucking go down. This is Corey, the TI. Hope you guys have a good day. Like, share, subscribe. I'm sorry about the cussing and the rants of the last couple of days. It was getting to me. I have to, I'm human too, This is a spiritual war against good versus evil. And I hope, light comes to, the darkness comes to light, and these people get exposed for their crimes, no matter how hidden and subtle, they try to hide it, Covert tactics they use online, fake usernames. I spit on the phone while I'm talking because that's how irate I am, But, yeah, it's normal to be this way, but unfortunately they don't see that. They say, "Oh, you have a mental disorder. They're narcissists. You're down here and they're above here." Even if they may have a mental disorder, they got the backing of their friends, family, and the local corrupt so-called law enforcement and the corrupt so-called mental health. It's never been about mental health. It's like that thing I posted. They weaponize the so-called mental health system against us. The gaslighters. He's mentally ill. He's a paranoid schizophrenic. I'm damaged now, but that was really never the case my whole entire life. It was the environment, the gaslighting, the narcissistic abuse, the shit that they put in the air, food, and water, the so-called medications, all these poisons. And that's why I told when they had me in UCI hospital, I told my mother about this whole big pharma and the deadly COVID vaccine. And she's like, keep them. She knows this herself. She'll bullshit about it, but she told the doctor to keep them because that's what the doctor told me. And she's a lying bitch too. She knows it. They all fucking know it. They're going to stay tight-lipped and not say nothing, of course, because they didn't want to go to prison. They don't want, God forbid, if I'm recording them, they don't want to go to prison, but it's all good because that's where they're headed. It's all going to come out, So you bastards just be as arrogant and in denial as you want. The truth will fucking come to light. You sick, evil fucking bastards. Each and every one of you. Episilicos Posse Vino, involved in my targeting, gang stalking, and all this shit. Gaslighting. You know who you are. Out there, Karina Galvez, all you fucking bastards, you're done. This is Corey T.I. I'm out. Peace. Up TIs and non-TIs, this is Corey T.I. here. So they succeeded in a sense of making me, pretty much incompetent to a degree because of how they poisoned me and gave me the deadly nanotech chip and deadly COVID vaccine and with an infected needle. They really did their job, I'll be honest. I have to admit it. My memory is vague on these things. Still, I know the ones that stick out are true. But these evil bastards do that. Like in Real Talk with Heidi's video about how they use the corrupt courts against targeted individuals. This is what they want. They want you mentally incompetent. You can't speak for yourself. Nothing. That's why they do this ex parte where they run their trials and shit. When they frame you for crimes, they don't need you there. You don't need to be inside the court. Like they when I went into UCI hospital when they had that when I was under the what was it, that gas, that hypnotic gas. This is the truth. There was some type of drug or gas coming out of with a vaporizer that was in my housemate's room, Karina Galvez's room. This is the truth. I know it sounds crazy, but if you think it's crazy and don't believe it, well, too fucking bad. It's the truth. And they coerced me to go to UCI hospital psych ward in July of last year. They had me sign away my rights under HIPAA law, which is unconstitutional. It's human trafficking and under power of attorney. So they could take control and do whatever the fuck they want, commit their crimes, So I don't have to show up in court. And so they could take out, they could say that the person's mentally unstable, they could take out a life insurance policy on me, which I think they did, and stole my identity. And framing me for dozens of crimes that I didn't commit, portraying them to be me, These people are fucking evil, and they know I was a threat because I would speak so much truth out there in SoCal over the years in my awakening, And they said, "No, we got to do something about this fucking guy. We got to set him up. We got to, make him incompetent, We really got to fuck his life over and take him out slowly. It's a slow kill operation. That's what this is. It's a targeted individual. Ask the other TIs out there. It's a slow kill operation. They want you pretty much dead and gone, locked up, on and off, in jail, in fucking mental institutions, and ultimately they want you gone. You know, this is how fucking sick and evil they are. And then people are watching in this and are involved. They know damn well it's the fucking truth. They'll deny, and they'll believe their fucking lies too. But I just want to come back out here and say that thank you guys. Hope you have a good, blessed day. This is Corey T.I. I'm out. Peace.